Good morning, everybody. This is Brandon from Galaxydoc Market. Today is September 15, 2024. It's Sunday, approximately 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as I bring you this video, a look ahead for the markets and how we plan on trading the market and what our views are. The topic is gold is going crazy. We've been talking about this for months on end, right? And I've been bullish on gold, that any pullback in gold was to be bought. But what does it mean for the stock market, especially with all the events coming out, with the quad witching, with the FOMC, jobless claims numbers, all kinds of stuff going on, and especially coming off of the futures roll from September contract to December? Let's find out. And before you start, please like us, share us, and subscribe. Here's a disclaimer. Pause it, read it. If you agree with our disclaimer, please move forward. And of course, my shameless plug on X.com, Galaxydoc Market, where you get all kinds of real live commentaries ahead of everybody else that we won't get on the YouTube channel as well, and kind of get a glimpse of what we get in our membership channel. All right, so let's start with the fear and greed index. We are yo-yoing, folks, and we are yo-yoing because people don't know what to make of this, going from greed to fear and now back to neutral. That is telling you that when this fear and greed index is basically pinning back and forth from greed, fear, neutral, fear, greed, neutral, okay, that's market instability, folks. All right, let's move on forward. And I always talk about this, and I say it again. I want to remind you that you got to be watching this JPY US dollar peg against the basically the SPX, okay? And that is telling you we've been grinding up, inching up slowly. You see the uptrend in this JPY US dollar, and henceforth, and I believe the black swan may come out of here, either that or basically going to be war. We'll talk about that in more detail. And as we're moving higher, we try to take out, and we did, this level from this previous breakout highs of the SPX on the previous week, okay? So we can further signal problems in BOJ yen carry trade, and I'm telling you, this yen carry trade unwind is not over, but I wanted to throw that in there before we start. Okay, so let's start with our Galaxydoc 4 continues lagging the Dow Jones Industrials, right? We have this continuous long trend line coming in. From the top is Meta. Meta is lagging. It's a downward trend diverging. Tesla is diverging. The blue line is Apple, and Apple is diverging down here. You can see that divergence coming right down here. And of course, our big kahuna, which is NVDA right here, and NVIDIA is also diverging from here. Now, the bottom channel is the Dow Industrials, and basically kind of flattening out, still diverging down, but look at the divergence from the transports. Transports basically lead the market lower. It can foretell further market problems going forward. Markets warning of a bigger market move lower, but first we have to move higher, and that's what we've been talking about, and that's what's happening right now as we're talking. NVIDIA, Apple, Meta, and Tesla, the leading indicator stocks, are all diverging lower as the market is inching higher to all-time highs. What will happen this week? And that's what we're going to be talking about. So when we look at the SPX equal weighted, and everyone says, why do you waste time with this? Because it can tell you a lot of clues. Right now, we have the equal weighted up here, and then the regular, the ones that you're used to, and they're beginning to diverge a little bit faster. And well, last week we were saying that it was moving higher on a bullish divergence. Now it's basically flipped. Why is that? Because this rally is engineered on the laggards. Okay, and if you haven't noticed, we're beginning to have a kind of confluence of this lagging on the SPX and the equal weighted SPX. Okay, we're at critical levels, folks. All right, this is telling you it's not going to happen tomorrow. It may not even happen this week. And I do believe after FOMC, we're going to be either chopping sideways or starting to break out above the all-time highs before we start moving lower. There, I said it. Now you could turn the video off and then just move on with their daily lives. Okay, but this is what we're talking about. Okay, now, really quickly, we're talking about this long-term indicator, uptrend line. 578.5 to 585 is the first target, but it can obviously be targeting 600, right, on the SPY before this thing may want to move over. But anything can happen at this point. You can see where my circle is, that this area right here, we're beginning to kind of stall out. If we continue to see this stalling action, okay, that is warning us of an imminent downward move. But I do believe that it may want to move higher, at least take out the highs before it moves lower. So we have to be vigilant about watching these levels, okay? It's going to happen before or after FOMC, or is it going to come in with a coinciding with Rosh Hashanah October 2nd level, okay? The question that you want to be asking right now is, everybody's asking me, why is gold spiking, and how did you know that gold will continue to move higher, and why are you saying, and these are what I'm talking about, 2750 to 3000 is possible after FOMC, okay? Now, it really did start breaking out, and we'll go over this technical analysis as we go. I believe that the gold is telling us something, okay? Gold always tells you early on, especially when it's moving together with a market that's moving higher right now, and the gold is moving higher. That really doesn't happen unless there's distortion in the marketplace, and there is a divergence forming right now. Is the gold right, or is the market right? We'll find out shortly. Okay, SPY and ES is at critical levels too, right? We talked about this. Is it going to stop at the all-time high? It's at the 565. Or are we going to start hitting that upper trend, long-term trend line into the 585 to, like I said, about 600 level before moving down, okay? Regardless, the insiders, everybody that we know are dumping, and we talked about the historical significance of the Fed pivot and what happens shortly thereafter to the markets. This is something that we need to pay attention to. Well, gold might be telling us of geopolitical or economic black swan event that may be coming. If you're living under a rock, basically Putin and Russia is basically telling us, the West, that we're not immune to this, especially America, if we continue to exacerbate the conditions in Ukraine and Russian war. Okay, I'm not taking sides, but that's what's happening. That is why I think gold is spiking. But really, the other issue is this Japanese yen carry trade unwind is not over, folks. It's just sleeping. It's been just inching higher, not enough for the markets to freak out yet. So slowly at first it'll move up, and then it'll just go up significantly fast in a parabolic fashion. That's when I think the markets will freak out, and we're getting close. Black swan is defined as unpredictable event that is beyond what is normally expected, but it comes out of nowhere, right? With severe consequences. We're playing with fire, folks. All right, so this is the news that everyone should be paying attention to, but I don't know if our mainstream media is talking about this. Americans will not be able to sit out if there is a nuclear war, okay? Because warns why are we mulling escalation? Why are we hell-bent on war at this point? And I always talk about this, right? If you study history, throughout history, bankers create wars. Okay, it's a lucrative endeavor, kill off a bunch of people, and this is what happens. I probably shouldn't be saying that, but that is the truth. Okay, here, I tell you the truth on this channel. Let's talk a little bit about, you've seen this chart before. If you want to really look at it, go back a couple weeks and look at this chart, okay, and the video that I made on it, okay. So basically, this is the rate cuts that basically happen. After that, we have a rally, right? And right now, we've been rallying ahead of all this. Look at all these rate cuts, okay. Eventually, that thing goes right down to here, and then this is telling you that Fed creates these rate cuts. The pivot will lead to economic distortion. It happens every single time, most of the time, okay? Fed is always late to the game. It almost seems like they're doing it on purpose, right? Okay, so Fed went on the hiking spree in 2005 to 2006, very similar to what's happening to us right now, which led to the housing bubble. What's it going to lead to now? Okay, panic cuts are coming, folks. All right, it's not going to be today or tomorrow, but all the way into 2025 and maybe beyond to 2026. Okay, short all the rips, folks, or play these counter trend bounces. Okay, so enough of that. Let's move forward. Again, another chart demonstrating, very nice chart from ElliottWave.com. Okay, they said it was 2023. What's going to happen when the Fed pivots? Well, we're pivoting now. As of August 24th, they signaled it, and the day of reckoning is coming. September 18th, 2024 at 2 p.m., Fed is going to announce either a 25 basis point or 50 basis point cut. Can you imagine if they don't cut, though? What the market's going to do? Not likely that's going to happen, but that's what we're expecting, a cut, and then that's going to officially start that. Now, it's not going to just sell off right afterwards. I anticipate about maybe 3 to 7 days, maybe up to 10 days of maybe rallying in celebration of that as the insiders dump into that rally. Don't become exit liquidity. All right, so SPY and ES is at critical levels, right? We talked about that. We're looking for a rally ahead of FOMC and a sell-off post about 3 to 7 days post that, maybe coinciding with October 2nd, which is the Rosh Hashanah, right? October 2nd. Sell on Rosh Hashanah, buy on Yom Kippur, right? Guys, these guys are very numerological, calendar data and lunar, blah, blah, blah. And also, these dates coincide with lunar calendar situations, okay? And a lot of things happen during that period, especially market directional change. About 5 weeks ago, we had a flash crash on Monday due to Japan yen carry trade. I don't think that's over. It's going to basically lead to a potential changes in direction, but you can benefit from it if you're fast and you know how to scalp and you know your levels. You can scalp ahead of it, or you could build your put positions ahead of that and continue to buy gold on any type of pullbacks. Consumer demand destruction, and that is really real. Okay, now I did make a video about restoration hardware. They continue to confound any type of logic, but it is what it is. I got that one wrong. I'm going to do a video on that, and especially with Signet Jewelers as well, and kind of a post-mortem analysis. I'm still bearish on both of them, but obviously, we got to wait our turn and be patient with that. Okay, let's do some technical analysis. All right, so here is our, the put to call ratio, and we kind of double topped, and that was pretty obvious that they were going to bring it down. I think this trend line needs to be respected, and we're going to need to see what happens there. But ultimately, it can bring all the way down into 0.475. That is not bullish, folks. We are now down into that critical levels where contrarian way of thinking, the way the market works, is it comes ebbs and flows with buying and selling activity. Likelihood is that somewhere in between these two levels, we're going to bounce higher. Okay, and I think that's going to coincide with Rosh Hashanah and FOMC. Remember, this week is also quadruple witching of monthly expiration contracts. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. Okay, there's going to be a lot of volatility this week. Okay. All right, so let's go look at gold, because everybody's talking about gold. And, we talked about this way back when, okay, way back in when I started making this video. Okay, that we bottomed right here in, back in March. We talked about it again back in, May and June to October. And then we got into July, and then we said we're breaking out. These numbers represent my phasic breakout levels. Phase 1, here's phase 2, and these become more and more impulsive. Phase 3 is this line. The question is, are we starting into the phase 4 as we break out from this mini consolidation level? This is, I said way back in June, I said, hey, critical pullback support zone, this is where you want to be adding. We've been adding on any type of pullbacks and building our position on our gold, okay? We have the RSI moving higher, and that's only going to continue. It's going to get stronger. You see that orange line that's going higher, but from the bottom there, we've been nothing but divergent higher on the gold, okay? Of course, if you look at the MACD, and I love MACDs for these purposes, we have a bullish basically signal, okay? Histogram is going from the negative area. We're now into the positive. Question is, are we going to go higher from that area? And I believe so. Gold is suppressed, folks, and it is telling you of economic dislocation that's happening in our world, okay? So our stochastics looks like it's ready to form a bullish signal higher, okay, right into this area, bullish signal higher. And then, of course, our PPO ADX is forming this fantastic this hasn't formed that yet, but it's making this type of formation. Guys, this bullish move in gold is just getting started. If you don't believe me, look at the accumulation distribution. And of course, we're at the ATR. Okay, remember, we're at the bottom end. Gold has been kind of moving sideways. If we start moving down or breaking above higher, it's going to signal trend higher. Okay. I'm very bullish on gold. Okay, here's the weekly really quick. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. It's the same thing. Gold is telling you that it is moving higher on the relative strength. It's gaining on the relative strength situation, right? And then so what we have is again on a longer time frame, broke out in a nice cup formation, right? And guess what? At the very least, we're going to hit 2640 sometime next week. But I believe it's going to go parabolic shortly here. Okay. Pay attention to gold. Okay. Any pullbacks, you want to be building, buying some time and building positions. Look at what MACD is telling you. It just crossed over, gave us a signal. Histogram is positive. Look at that CCI. Okay. Yeah, CCI at these levels can be contrarian. If you get a little bit of a pullback, you add to your gold positions. Okay. Not financial advice, but that's what we're doing since you watch this channel to see what I'm doing, right? I don't get everything right all the time. Look at my restoration hardware, but I'm still bullish on that. But look at the PPO-ADX. It's basically bullish cup formation. We're breaking out into accumulation. Okay, it's only going to get worse as we go. Okay, and then as we go into ATR, if we break above there, gold's going to start skyrocketing. Okay. In other words, folks, gold is moving higher. Okay, that's basically that. Okay, let's go into SPY because I think SPY has a potential to move a little bit higher. We did finish above this breakdown candle high. We're in that kind of that gap zone again. This is that confluence level right here. If we break out, then 565 becomes the next logical target, which coincides with the all-time highs that we set. Can we poke above to the 567 to 570 level, okay, and then start breaking down? We'll see, okay, but these are the levels that you need to pay attention to, okay. Now the RSI has broken out a little bit from this downtrending descending level. So does that mean we're moving higher? We need to pay attention to that. Okay, we're at a tricky level. You should not be dancing around at these top levels. Okay, I always say short the ribs, but you can, you can game this on a intraday basis and day trade this. Okay, here's the thing though, folks. MACD is telling us we're having a bullish cross, and the histogram is telling us there's higher movements coming. Okay. So in the CCI, we broke through the downtrending line. We're moving higher. The stochastics are moving higher. And then, of course, the PPO-ADX is signaling a bullish formation, right? We're doing this, okay? And then, of course, accumulation distribution. We are accumulating, folks. We're going higher, right? Based on this chart, okay? Now, what would derail that? Well, gold is warning us of something. So that could happen at any time, right? So you got to be prepared. When this black swan event or the sell-off starts, you either have some positions on or you don't, okay? That's why you short the rips going forward, okay? So that's kind of what we have. And then let's look at the SPY. Let's get this line out of there. On the weekly basis, we formed the bottom and we're moving higher. So if we break through that downtrending line on the RSI, we're going to move higher. Now, this arrow is pointing to basically the breakdown highs, and we finished above there. The question is now are we going to take this out maybe as early as Monday and move a little bit higher? That would set up a fantastic thing. That would set up a fantastic opportunity for us to basically be able to short. The question is that are we going to hit that uptrending line, which once hit and breaks down will signal a recession, right? That monthly SPY chart that I have. Okay, so are we going to move higher and then post FOMC maybe move higher a little bit? I'm pretty sure the initial reaction is going to be higher, and then let's see how long that goes. Okay, is it going to coincide with Rosh Hashanah, October 2nd, sell in Rosh Hashanah and buy in Yom Kippur? It's like, so these words, man, it's just crazy. All right, are we going to basically on the MACD, are we going to start crossing over this area. Okay, so the weekly chart has been bearish. We've kind of moved higher. Okay, and there's been divergences, but currently the CCI is telling us we may be moving higher. Stochastics signaling we may be moving higher, but on the PPO, we got kind of this weird bearish formation. Are we finishing it up? Are we starting to move higher like this, thereby forming these cup formation? Who knows? We're going to be finding out. I'm not going to get into accumulation because it is clearly being accumulated right now. That's why I think we're moving higher as we go. Okay, folks? So that's kind of what I have as far as the technical analysis goes. But the million-dollar question is, are we headed into a recession? Is there a threat of war? What is going on with the gold? Okay, why is every central bank and everybody else known to mankind all of a sudden bullish on gold? And why is gold breaking out in a fashion that basically is signaling some form of dislocation in the marketplace that is happening? Okay, so here's what I will say. You got to watch gold. Okay, we've been building our gold position way back into the 2400s level. Okay, and we have the September 30th gold calls. I'm not going to tell you our strike. Okay, but markets to rally ahead of FOMC, and watch Rosh Hashanah on October 2nd. Okay, watch closely the JPY US dollar. You got to excuse me with the clanking in the back because the issue is that I have family also, so take it or leave it. Okay, I don't really care. I just got to get this information out to you before it's too late. This isn't over yet, but be vigilant, okay? Sell on Rosh Hashanah and buy on Yom Kippur this year is in October 2nd to 11th, okay? Gold is on track to break above 2750 and higher in about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, I'm talking about higher. I think this is my minimum level that I'm looking for. Watch for black swans. It's warning of some form of shock. I don't know what that is. I'm not a soothsayer, okay? But the market's not, it's not healthy. Okay, you got to short these rips, but you got to learn how to do that. Key levels to watch this week is 565 on the SPY. That is the all-time highs. Rejection off these levels will most likely result in the back test of 547 to 539 level. Not likely ahead of FOMC, but anything's possible. Just keep that in the back of your mind. If it breaks above 565, that's green skies breakout, folks. Okay, so when they do that, technically markets can move higher. Is it going to hit that upper trend line or get near there and start pulling back? We'll see. Or are we just in a bull market? Unlikely. Okay, there's too much crap going on, and historically, when Fed pivots, bad things happen, folks. Keep note of Fed pivots, and cutting cycle coincides with market crashes and sell-offs, and I think this is not going to be a one-off event. We're going to have these sharp sell-offs and sharp rallies that you can game. It's a different type of a market as we enter this phase of the market. All right, so thank you for listening. Follow us at Galaxydoc Market and X.com. Like us, share us, above all, comment, good and bad. Okay, I know you guys are commenting about the Restoration Hardware and Signet Jewelers, and but you know what? The game isn't over yet. Okay, I mean those are the ones that you want to be watching closely, and remember to subscribe. Okay, we appreciate you and thank you. Let's get some alpha. Oh, by the way, if you want to learn about working with me and joining my group, you gotta email me at coachbrandon@protonmail.com. But also there's a web link that'll tell you a lot about me and what we do here. Okay, and let's go kick some butt, get some alpha. Okay, and it's going to be a very interesting week. Remember quad witching. Okay, FOMC. There's a lot of things that are going to be happening. Watch what's developing in Russia and the Japanese yen. The carry trade unwind is not over, folks. All right, bye-bye.